On board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
All right, welcome to the #1 women's show on making finance fun. It's introducing the brand new show right here, Money with Martha on KCAA Radio every Saturday 2 to 3 p.m. I am your host. My name is Martha E. Schmidt. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, this show is dedicated to helping women make financial decisions and have fun while doing it. The key word is having fun. It's time for women everywhere to take charge of their financial lives by making conscious financial decisions. All right? Women, it's time to wake up financially. Today on the show, we have a lineup of guests. Well, not a lineup, but we have two amazing guests, and they will be sharing with us from their experiences, first as women and in other capacities. Also later on, I'm going to be sharing with you Martha's quote for the day. You want to look out for that. You don't want to miss that. Now, today's topic is reprogramming your mind for money. Reprogramming your mind for money. Let that sit a little bit. Did you know that your mind played a vital role in determining how much money you can make? Did you know that your mind is a tool that can serve you to make better financial decisions? Now, these and more are some of the things we're going to be taking a look at today on the show. All right, so I have my first guest coming up. She's going to be sharing with us. Her name is Julie Phelan, but we're going to take a quick break, and right after that, we'll be in with our first guest. Remember, this is Money with Martha. My name is Martha.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA Producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA Producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
If you're ready for a Las Vegas vacation, here's an offer you can't refuse. The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights in Vegas free. Just call 909-406-7400. The offer includes accommodations with 2 free tickets to Great Las Vegas Entertainment with free meals. So if you're planning a trip to Vegas, you need to jump on this right now. Just call 909-406-7400. Obviously, an offer like this is not going to last. So call now, 909-406-7400 for your 3-day, 2-night Vegas vacation. That number again, 909-406-7400. Call now.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career
because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
this environment cultivates creative thinking.
All right. Welcome back. It's Money with Martha, and I am Martha. We have our first guest today on the show. She is a financial life coach, and her coaching service has transformed the lives of many of her clients. It is my great pleasure to introduce to the show today Miss Julie Phelan.
Good morning, Martha, or good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Julie. Right. We're very happy to have you. Thank you for making out the time. Right. I just want to pick your brains on a few things. We're talking about reprogramming our mind for money today on the show. Mm-hmm. And as women, we're all at different levels of our life, different levels of our journey here on earth. We have different hopes, different dreams, different aspirations, different goals. Now, how does money play a role in all of this?
That's rather a large question.
Okay, take your time.
It is just a fact of life that money plays a part in everybody's life and their journey, no matter what stage they're in or what path they're on, right? So the key is to find a way to make it work for you in a way that is going to enhance your life as opposed to cause stress and anxiety and problems.
I agree. You said something vital. We all need money, right? Money seems to be like it's the end destination. But, even though as much as it's something we all look forward to, we aspire to, and we all do have various things that we're looking out for. It could be that I want to build houses or build schools in Africa. My dream, my aspiration could be that I want to go to the moon. It could be anything. It could be I want $1 million. You know what I mean? But I realized that it's not so much the end destination as it is the transformation that goes on in you while you're getting there. You know what I mean? It's the process of who you're becoming on that journey. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
I do indeed know what you're talking about, and I completely agree. I would ask anybody who is listening to think about where they are right now and maybe how they got there also, but what they think about money, what they believe about what they're doing or a passion in life versus when they were 20 years old or 18, let's say when they got their first job, or 16, maybe working in school. We go through, and I talk with clients a lot, there's so many different phases, like from your first job to, let's say, 20 or 21, when you start, quote unquote, adulting, and then you get into learning a little bit more about income and taxes and credit cards. And by the time you're 40 or 50, you are well versed in all those things, but what you've done with that information and that knowledge and the money you've had can be very different. And you and I talked a little bit about what it is that could be your why, but your why changes also. When you're in your 20s, very ambitious, and it can be just to advance in a career or to pursue something or, education, because you don't know what you want to be when you grow up. When you have a certain amount of money or a certain amount of time, then you might want to do something different and give back. So it's very different for different people depending on where they are at any given stage of their life. And it constantly needs evaluating and examining, I believe.
That's correct. And that's the transformation of the person you become. That's the change that, we're all aspiring to, because that is where the growth is. And that's what this journey on life is really all about. Yeah. As a financial coach, you are exposed to a lot of people who have different issues. Now, I realize that there are probably some common potential roadblocks that you've seen that can prevent us from getting to our financial destinations, and especially as women. Can you speak a little bit further on this?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you asked that. That's a great question and one of my favorite topics. Men and women do view money differently, and we're taught about money differently. So, as you said earlier, money, the way you think about it is so key. It really is key. And we get so many of our beliefs and so many of our, what we think we understand about money from our childhood and from our parents, teachers, ministers, that might be. They do tend to affect us as we go through life. I would say without fail, every single client that I have had has had to make some kind of an adjustment in their financial a set point, if you want to call it that. And that starts from looking at and examining their beliefs that they may not even know that they have, because so many of the things that we learned or kind of absorbed from childhood are completely unconscious or subconscious to us, but they can still control us. And I know many people have heard this too, where religion might say money is the root of all evil, when of course that's not the exact quote. It's the love of money. Or another religious one about it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get to heaven.
Right.
That influences us whether we realize it or not. And I'll tell you, frankly, in my personal situation and my family, my parents got divorced when I was a teenager. Before the divorce, there was some issue of, well, you know, you can't do this, or we don't have enough money for that. And after the divorce, I kind of absorbed a belief that there wasn't going to be enough for me to do what I wanted, or for family to do what we wanted. And also that if I did want to do something, well, I had to sublimate that desire or sacrifice that desire to doing something else like work in order to help the family. And I find that a lot of people have that belief that they're supposed to help other people, which is, it's all well and good, but we do it to our own detriment. And that means that we don't then take care of our own financial situation because we're so busy taking care of other people. That is what seems to happen much more with women than with men.
That is so true, and thank you so much for really elaborating on that, because that is a major roadblock for women. It's something everyone comes first. You know, the children, the mom, the dad, everybody else, and we sacrifice everybody else, and we come, you know, trailing behind. We're just behind everyone else. So that is something that could be a major pitfall on our way to our financial destination as women. Remembering who you are and just putting yourself forward and saying it's okay. It's okay.
Well, the other side, the flip side of that is that when we don't put ourselves first, I mean, don't put others first and put ourselves first instead, we feel guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy to do that. You know, I don't know men who feel guilty about, you know, whether it's getting a car or
they just go.
Right? They may be taking care of their family and see themselves as the breadwinner, but they're not going to feel the guilt if they don't put themselves and their career first and their earnings and things. But women, we will, and I'll tell you, it's kind of funny because women are much more prone, I think, in some ways to retail therapy, as they call it, and going shopping to make them feel better. And also the guilt for not putting others first kind of makes us go out and do something that will benefit us, like buy a new pair of shoes or just go shopping and justify it and saying, well, I never do this for myself, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. And that's equally as damaging. Mm-hmm. And it's still driven by that mindset that you've got underneath everything, that you're supposed to put other people first. And if you don't, you're bad.
Yeah, it's kind of a reverse psychology. You know what comes to mind to me right now is, you know, when you're in the plane and then they say, the oxygen bag's going to fall. And always they say, you know, put it on yourself first, even before your own children. And there's a reason for that, because you can't give what you don't have. So it's important to make sure that you have what you need to be able to serve others. Let your cup be full before you pour onto others. Julie,
that's a great example.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want to say something?
No, that's an excellent example. You really have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of the others. And that's no different in the financial realm. How are you going to take care of other people financially if you don't have the financial wherewithal or the knowledge to impart to somebody else to help them take care of their financial life?
So true, so true. Thank you. Wise words spoken, Julie. We're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be right back. Remember, this is Money with Martha. I am a Martha.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA Producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA Producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
If you're ready for a Las Vegas vacation, here's an offer you can't refuse. The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights in Vegas free. Just call 909-406-7400. The offer includes accommodations with 2 free tickets to great Las Vegas entertainment with free meals. So if you're planning a trip to Vegas, you need to jump on this right now. Just call 909-406-7400. Obviously, an offer like this is not going to last. So call now, 909-406-7400 for your 3-day, 2-night Vegas vacation. That number again, 909-406-7400. Call now.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
All right. All right. Welcome back. It's still Money with Martha. And my name is Martha. We still have our guest with us. She is a financial life coach. Her name is Miss Julie Phelan in the studio. Well, actually, she's on Zoom, but that's okay. All right, Julie. So, what role does a woman's state of mind play in determining her future? What role does, the mental state of your mind have to do with how far you can go financially?
As you said, kind of at the beginning, it is the single most important thing. And if we don't like where we are, we first kind of have to transform our thoughts about where we're going and what our situation is. And in so many ways, get out of the fear-driven space that women find themselves in. Fear of not having enough, fear of not being enough, fear of not being able to take care of themselves or their children, fear of independence, because that's a big one. And I had a counselor a long time ago. That was probably the biggest gift that she ever gave me in the course of our doing stuff, because I was feeling like I had to stay in a job, even though I hated it, hated the boss. I had health issues probably because of that, with upset stomach and all the time. And she gave me the freedom to be free of that fear that I had to have a job, that not that I had to have a job, but I had to stay in that job, that I would be okay if I quit that job, even without another one, that I had the mental resources, I had the capacity, and I had some saving. So I was able to release that fear and to move on. So that was my mental state, and it was the biggest single key and moment in transforming my own financial life. I also made the decision, and this is what I also tell clients, and women particularly, you have to decide, really consciously decide that you're going to do something differently, and you commit to it. You have to say, I want to have more money someday. It's like, today I am going to start changing how I look at money and changing how I view my future and what I do today, and I'm going to build better habits. And once you change that, that is the very first step and the very first key in changing the most important thing, which is your mindset.
That's
you can't do it without changing that.
I like the fact that you stated the point. It's important to make a decision, to commit that I want to make change. That where the decision is very important, because sometimes, we know we want to do something, but we haven't really been able to commit to making that decision, because once we make that decision, we find out everything else just kind of falls in place. So
right. And I would add, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No.
You can't just say, I want to change, because a lot of people, everybody wants to change. But if you say, I intend to change, or I am changing starting today, I am choosing a new way of doing things. That's the most important thing. Not just because you can say, I want to change. That's like saying, I want $1 million. Well, who doesn't want $1 million? But it does nothing towards getting you there, to getting that $1 million. You say, I choose today to change how I've been doing things in order to get to what it is that I want. And you and I have talked about this, how key it is and how important it is to write that down, because that reinforces your intention, your choice. And then you can also look at that.
It's more than a desire. It's involving your willpower. That's what you're trying to say. Taking it to the next level. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. That's really nice. I just want to find out very quickly from you, if there is a woman here or listening right now, and she's saying to herself, I feel like I've wasted the best part of my years. I'm wondering, where do I even start right now? She's looking at her age, she's looking at her situation, she's looking at everything life has thrown to her, and she's saying, listening to you, okay, but where do I start? I mean, how do I even start? What would you say to someone like that?
I would first say, I know where you've been, because I am a woman of a certain age. I would say I've been in the workforce for over 40 years, doing a lot of different things, and have some life experiences that I can share. Honestly, if somebody who is older wants to know what they can do with what they've got, a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old is not the person to ask. And a lot of the people who are financial advisors, I love them and they're great, but they have cookie cutter methods of doing things, and they don't have the life experience to say, I understand where you're coming from. I can share that. I have done that or shared some of those things. And, a financial life coach or any kind of a life coach can actually help to meet you where you are if they have some experience with life and with financial ups and downs. Because and I know there's nobody that gets to the age of 50 without financial ups and downs.
Oh, absolutely.
And even more so older. And as women get older, and maybe they have a spouse that dies, or they're faced with divorce, which is something they never thought about, or kids are demanding. A lot of kids and a lot of millennials have a lot of problems. A lot of kids are coming back home to live with their 60-year-old parents. That's a big challenge. So talk to somebody. If you want to talk to a life coach like me, then I'm more than open to that. But also start with a really good, clear examination of where you are. What money do you have, and what are your expenses? It kind of gets back to basic budgeting. Where can you cut if you need to? Where can you put money to expand and grow your income, grow your money if you can? You have to basically take that microscope, that laboratory analysis, and look exactly at where you are first. It's like if you are leaving your house to go somewhere, you know where you're going, but you first have to take that step out the door, right?
Correct. So it's knowing what you're at point A, recognizing you're here and you want to get there, and what are the things I need to do to get there. And one of them is beginning to talk to someone, to find someone who has been to where you want to be and who could be some kind of guide. It could be a coach or anybody, but talk to someone and take yourself to the next level, yeah?
Exactly. And don't forget your piggy bank. That's one of the things that our parents give us when we're 5 years old, maybe. And, having a piggy bank is always such a good thing. But, it's kind of like, just to take the analogy a little bit farther, if you're stepping out the door, you first have to know what the weather is, what kind of clothes you should be wearing, what kind of shoes, depending on how far you're going to be traveling. And, is it night? Is it day? What's your safety? You have to kind of look at all those things before you take that first step.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that analogy. That's a good one. Thank you for that. All right, Julie, you are a woman of many words, and it just spills out naturally from you. One would think, okay, but I want to ask you, how do you relax? What do you do to unwind, refresh your soul, to recharge your energy? Can you share?
Oh my goodness. I love to walk, for one thing. I like to walk, not necessarily trying to get my 10,000 steps, but sometimes it happens. But walking, especially with music playing and headsets, always having something in my ear. Sometimes podcasts, if they're interesting and they're informative. I found that if I get into the news or politics, that's not relaxing, so I don't unwind. And reading, just plain reading novels. I love to read and always have since I was a kid. That is definitely unwinding because it can take me into a whole different world before I have to come back to reality, whatever that reality is.
And we all need that time where we, just escape, take some time out and just come
Mm-hmm.
back to the reality. But yeah.
And I'm so glad you brought that up because it's so important to remember to do that. These days, we think we're doing more. We have to do more, more, more. But it's not always being efficient, and it's not always getting us places. It's just more social media, more posting, more Facebook, more this, and it gets stressful rather than being relaxing.
Well said. Thank you so much, Julie. So, how can we reach you if someone's listening right now and say, okay, I think I want to take the first step to connect myself with a financial coach or a coach, someone I can speak to. How can you be reached?
I have a couple different ways. The simplest way would be to call me, and the phone number is 626-460-1188. That's 626-460-1188, 626-460-1188, or email me at julietalksmoney@gmail.com. That is julietalksmoney@gmail.com.
I want to say thank you so much, Julie, for pouring out of yourself and just being a blessing to so many women listening today. Thank you so much for making the time to be on this show. We want to appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll see you more often.
Thank you so much for having me, Martha. You and I have the same kind of feeling and respect and desires for women. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. It's still Money with Martha. My name is Martha E. Schmidt. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our second guest, Miss Christine Harris.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA Producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA Producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
If you're ready for a Las Vegas vacation, here's an offer you can't refuse. The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights in Vegas free. Just call 909-406-7400. The offer includes accommodations with 2 free tickets to great Las Vegas entertainment with free meals. So if you're planning a trip to Vegas, you need to jump on this right now. Just call 909-406-7400. Obviously, an offer like this is not going to last. So call now, 909-406-7400 for your 3-day, 2-night Vegas vacation. That number again, 909-406-7400. Call now.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
All right. Okay, it's Money with Martha, still on the radio, KCAA. All right. Okay, so my name is Martha, and I have my second guest in the studio. She is Miss Christine Harris.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Christine. Christine has an event center, one of the leading event centers right here in Redlands, California, and it's called Venue 38. We'll be talking a little bit more about that later, but that's all good. Okay. All right. Okay, Christine. So today we're talking about reprogramming our mind for money. Reprogramming our mind for money. I'm just saying that gently so that it just registers. If you're just tuning in, that's what it's all about today. I just want to pick your brains. How do you think that our beliefs about money work for us or against us? Would you say that?
I believe it works for us if you let it work for you. If you make it work for you, it can definitely work.
I think that's a really good answer. That's just putting it out there. You know, if you want it to happen, it will happen.
Yes.
Right?
Most definitely.
Yeah?
I make my money work for me.
Tell me about
and
that.
not me work for my money.
There you go. There you go. We want the money to work for us. We don't want to be the slave to or for money. Money is supposed to follow us, right?
Yes.
It's supposed to be a tool
Yes.
that we use to determine certain things or advantages that we have in our lives, correct?
Right.
Okay. All right. I just want to ask you because you're a woman who's doing amazing things. I know that you have an event center that you're running, and you've been on the financial journey for a while. You've been doing a few things in real estate here and there. But on your financial journey and getting to where you are now, I know you're not at the end, but you're somewhere on your path. Were there things that you had to change? I'm talking about like habits and things and behaviors, or did you have to change something to be able to get to where you currently are? And if you did, can you share them with us?
Well, I would always say I started off with money management at a very young age. I remember my friends, they used to joke and call me cheap because when it was my turn to pay for the food, we would go to the dollar menu. So they had a budget. So I started off very young with a budget. And as I'm getting older, I'm learning that a lot of us do not have financial, I'm getting lost for the words, but we're not in control of our finances. I actually didn't know anything about creating a budget until I was in my 30s. So creating a budget and setting a budget for yourself definitely helps. For me, I'm a budget shopper. I'm not into the nice fancy purses and shoes and things like that. So I think that's how I'm able to save and manage my money.
I think that's so key because, like you said, a lot of us don't just grow up with that mindset that we need to have a budget or even, you know, take charge of our finances. We just kind of like, okay, most times it could be run by someone else and we don't know, especially as you get older, you get married and things like that, you leave it to the husband. And we just sit, you know, to kind of like take the back seat of our financial lives, you know. We're not really there. We don't know what's going on. We don't even ask the questions because we feel, okay, I don't want to bother my pretty head. But that pretty head is losing money on the table.
Yes, yes. It's funny you mentioned that. I have a gym partner, and she was telling me that her dad paid for everything. The mom didn't have to take care of anything. He took care of everything, and he just recently passed. And she did not want to pass that along to her kids. So when she got married, she didn't know how to pay bills. So that was something that she took charge of. But I think for me, the benefit was growing up in a single family home. Everything was on my mom. So I was able to watch and observe how she did things.
Awesome. No, this is the essence of this show, Money with Martha. It's to encourage women to wake up financially, take charge of your financial life because it's no one else's. It's yours. It's part of
Yes.
your life, and it is for you to know what's going on in your life, even if it's financially. Okay, let's look at the imposter syndrome. I know that that's something that everyone has had. We've all experienced it at some point in life, more so even as women. Um, have you experienced this, and how do you work around it? How, you know, let me just let it be like
So
that.
for me, my imposter syndrome is that I have not, believe it or not, I don't feel like I've accomplished enough. And I struggle with that. And I have to literally go back and replay every accomplishment. Because usually when I accomplish something, it's like, okay, we've accomplished that. It's time to move on to the next one. So I don't take the time to celebrate each accomplishment. So sometimes I get overwhelmed, like, oh, I haven't accomplished enough, and I haven't did this, and I haven't did that. So I have to replay. I have this jar, and it's called the blessing jar. So I write down each blessing. So when I feel overwhelmed, I go and I dig in that jar and I pull out each card, and it reminds me, okay, you did this, you got this. So that's what I struggle with.
I think, but that's a beautiful tip that you just gave us now. And that's one way we can actually go around because it's something that happens. We always criticize ourselves, say, oh, I'm not good enough. I could have done it better. I could have and it goes on and on. And wherein the success that we already had, we kind of like undermine it.
Right,
Just
yes,
because, you know, we're
exactly.
not appreciative of what we have currently done. So being able to celebrate your wins, I think it's a very good tip. And like you said, a little jar.
Yes,
I
yes, I have it sitting right there.
and it, you know, just reminds you that, okay, I did this.
Yes.
I did this. And there are times in life when, you know, you feel depressed and feel like, okay, I'm not doing as well. But you look at that jar and say, I did this, so I can do this.
Right,
You know,
yes,
so that's a
yes.
great reminder. Thank you for sharing that. One of the questions that I realize that should be asked more that is not always asked is, who helped you to get where you are right now? You know, yeah, because we all need help, face it, you know. Did you get help? And what did that person do or those people do?
Yes, I did get help. And when I think about every step of my journey in life, it was someone there that helped me. And one of them was going back to school. And I was in need of a laptop, and my coworkers came together and purchased a laptop for me. And they seen something in me that I did not see in myself. And I know that was every person that I connected with. And I go back to them and, you know, I thank them and I remind them of what they done for me. And they tell me my way of thanking them is to pay it forward.
Awesome. Pay it forward.
Yes.
That's a good one. Pay it forward.
So right now in my journey with the house flips and with the venue, of course, people in my family, they can't relate. So what I do in those situations is I put myself in rooms where people are on the same path as me, and that can help me and encourage me to get to the next level when it comes to my businesses.
Right. Finding the kind of people that are going the direction where you're going.
Yes, you got to be around other like-minded people. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
I love that. Love that. Love that. Looking back, is there anything that you probably would have done differently?
I used to. And one of the things is I wish I would have started my business at a young age. I actually started my business in my early 30s. But as I look back over everything I've gone through in life, it's prepared me for my right now. So if I would have started flipping at a younger age, I probably wouldn't have been able to manage it, or I probably would have gave up. So I used to always be like, oh, I should have did this, I should have did that. And I have to remind myself I'm in my right now, and everything that I've been through in life has prepared me for my right now.
That is so true. And that's a way of just being thankful for everything that happened. And they say, you turn your lemon into lemonade no matter what happens.
Yes.
It's always for the now. What happened then helped you to be where you are. And if you look back, there's always something to be thankful for. So that's really a good way of looking at that. This is still Money with Martha. My name is Martha. We're talking about reprogramming our minds for money as women. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with the lovely Christine Harris.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
If you're ready for a Las Vegas vacation, here's an offer you can't refuse. The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights in Vegas free. Just call 909-406-7400. The offer includes accommodations with 2 free tickets to great Las Vegas entertainment with free meals. So if you're planning a trip to Vegas, you need to jump on this right now. Just call 909-406-7400. Obviously, an offer like this is not going to last. So call now, 909-406-7400 for your 3-day, 2-night Vegas vacation. That number again, 909-406-7400. Call now.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
It's still Money with Martha. Thank you for joining. My name is Martha Schmidt. We are still looking at reprogramming your mind for money. Reprogramming your mind for money. And I have the lovely Christine Harris right here in the studio with me. Christine, I just wanted to ask you, there are women who are listening to this show right now, even though it's a brand new show, and are engaged with our discussion. There might be those that feel like life is kind of like passed them by, if I may use that number. A woman gets to a particular age, they constantly remind us of the biological clock.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just a biological clock for women, but that is ingrained in our minds, and it kind of like inhibits or limits a lot of things that we would actually press forward, because we are constantly reminded that there is a biological clock, or there is some kind of clock that limits us from going forward or taking on certain things that we know we can, but probably want to shy back. What would you say to such a woman who feels like, where would I even start? Is it too late for me? How do I even begin? What would you advise such a person?
I would say that, one, it's never too late. By me being almost 40 and not having kids, I always hear, oh, your clock is ticking. When it's your time, it will be your time. So I always keep that in mind, but I do get, I do struggle with that at times. But then that's where my faith comes in and says, God does all things well and in His timing. So in the meantime, I keep working my business, keep putting myself out there, and know that it's never too late. I forgot what actress it was. She actually didn't get her role until her mid-70s. So with that being said, it's never too late. And I always think about Janet Jackson when she had her child at the age of 50. So it's never too late.
I love it. You know, it just reminds me of a proverb that says, when you wake up, it's your morning. So when you wake up, that's your morning. So start as if it is the morning,
Right.
okay? And just start the morning of your life as it is, as if it is now. And before you know, you'll see yourself moving forward. All right, let's relax a little bit. Let's just unwind, and I just want to use that to ask you, how do you unwind? What do you do to relax? How do you refresh? How do you nourish your spirit, the essence of who Christine is? What do you do?
So at times, Christine does struggle with this. However, one of my relaxing is going to the gym. I go to the gym regularly and I work out for an hour. And I just disconnect from everything. I disconnect from life, disconnect from what I have to do for the day, and I just focused on working out for the time. I may do something, ice cream. That's my favorite treat time. So I may go take myself out for ice cream. So these are different things. And then another thing for me that is so relaxing that I just started is I see a therapist. And that is so, I life-changing. That's all I can say is it's definitely life-changing.
That's interesting. I like the fact that you actually said that it's something you struggle with, because that is the truth. A lot of women, we struggle with actually taking care of ourselves, that self-care, that
Yes.
self-preservation, you know, that nourishment that we all need. It's so important, and it's nice that, you know, one can actually be honest and say, all right, I know I need to do a little bit more of this. What am I doing, and how can I improve on it? And the fact that you also mentioned seeing a therapist. You know, there are people that are actually shy away. Why would I want to go see a
Right.
therapist? You know, but you know that this is something, just like the first guest was talking about, having someone to talk to. Women, we are very emotional beings, and as such, we need to just air and constantly
Yes.
let it out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable with letting it out to her because I know she's not going to go run and tell anybody.
There
And
you
that's what we
go.
struggle with as women. Okay, if I share this with her, you worry about being judged or, you know, having them go back and tell somebody. So I know with her, I can be myself. I can be comfortable. I struggle with this. I struggle with that. And she helps me through those issues.
There you go. So you find a safe place where you can unburden yourself. Very essential. I want to ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? Well, let's just start with 5 years. You have a fantastic venue, event center across the road, and where do you see that?
I definitely see it expanding, having a couple of more, and eventually retiring and just traveling and enjoying life while I'm still here.
There you go. That's beautiful. A couple more, why not?
Right, yes.
One is not enough.
The sky is the limit.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, I want to ask you, if someone who's listening right now and they want to say, how do I reach Christine? I think she has a few nuggets that I could just learn a bit more from, or just tell us how we can reach you.
So I am on Instagram. You can find me at venue.38 and also on Facebook at venue38.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Christine, for being on the show here. And once again, just sharing and just being a blessing to so many people. Thank you for being a light.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. I'm sure we'll have you again. Thank you so much. It's still Money with Martha. I just want to say we'll be right back. Don't forget, I did tell you that there is Martha's quote of the day. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with Martha's quote of the day on Money with Martha.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
If you're ready for a Las Vegas vacation, here's an offer you can't refuse. The Vegas Travel Center is offering 3 days and 2 nights in Vegas free. Just call 909-406-7400. The offer includes accommodations with 2 free tickets to great Las Vegas entertainment with free meals. So if you're planning a trip to Vegas, you need to jump on this right now. Just call 909-406-7400. Obviously, an offer like this is not going to last. So call now, 909-406-7400 for your 3-day, 2-night Vegas vacation. That number again, 909-406-7400. Call now.
All right. Welcome back. It's Money with Martha. And my name is Martha. All right. I promised you for Martha's quote of the day. And are we ready? Drum rolls, please. Okay. Martha's quote of the day. Money is something you attract by changing the person you become. I'll take that again. Money is something you attract by changing the person you become. Now, I want you to just go a little further. Now, take the money out of that sentence and put anything that you desire. It could be a trip to Hawaii. It could be $1 million. It could be opening a new branch. It could be a promotion, anything. That is something you attract by changing the person you become. I want to thank you so much for being part of the show today. I just want to thank you for actually tuning in. And if you were blessed in any way, if you heard something that resonated with you, if you'd like to reach me, if you have ideas for the show, I want you to just feel free to call 951-551-1350 or KCAA producer at gmail.com. Don't forget, you can join me on YouTube at Money with Martha. I'll see you same time next week. Until then, adios.
E-Digits. Lock them in for more information, recreation, and guaranteed fun. KCAA.
Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's